Hi, I just wanted to take this moment to invite you to come over to my website, www.thebloominglotushealing.com. That's www.thebloominglotushealing.com, and sign up for my email list so that you can stay in touch and find out about activities that I don't announce here on YouTube. And you can also get to know all of the classes that I offer, as well as the one on one offerings that I have available there for you. Namaste, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jikara, and I'm a spiritual healing facilitator. And today we're going to be talking about venerating our ancestors. What does that even mean? And we're going to dive deep into this topic. We're going to talk about animism and what does that even mean? A little bit of a shamanism, and kind of explain a little bit about these practices that are interconnected, are directly related to our ancestors. So I want to invite you to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. If you haven't done so yet, please do. And if you have, thank you so much. Welcome to the fam. Make sure that you hit that notification button so that you know when I go live next. And then make sure that you share and like this video. If you feel like this is bringing value to you and you want to share the love with others and you want to grow the family, then make sure that you share this as well. I am so grateful today. Today is the day of Jupiter. Today is Thursday, April 17th. And, I kind of wanted to share a little bit about why I wanted to talk about this today, because I think it's important to kind of I just get these downloads, right? Well, I'm either taking a shower or I'm doing something in the house, and I'm just kind of like, oh, wow, this would be a great idea to talk about. And as I was brushing my hair, I was just sort of like just brushing my hair. I just took a shower and I was brushing my wet hair. I was sort of like connecting with my hair in a way that was just that feeling like I was connecting to my ancestors through it. And I was just sending so much love to my hair. And you're probably thinking like, Jakar, you're so crazy. What are you talking about? So it is known that our DNA is actually on our hair. And if you ever have thought about or ever heard about people talking about like, don't give away your hair because people can use it for curses and stuff, there's sort of like some essence of truth behind that, in the sense of that there's a lot of information in your hair that that can be decoded, right? And even in scientifically, it's been scientifically proven. But then beyond that, the fact that our DNA, right, has so much information within it that we can tap into that. And if you're here, you obviously believe in energy, and you know that, or you feel and you have this knowing that energy is real. And so the energetic value of the information that is in our DNA comes directly from our ancestors, right? And so even if you're not too keen in the energetic aspect of it, you can at least accept the fact that inside your DNA, you have ancestral information that is being brought forward, and that you're carrying it, right? And so there's like this moment where it dawned on me. It was like, oh my gosh, like as I was brushing my hair this morning, I was like, this is my ancestors. Like, this idea of our ancestors always being with us is so true. It's literally embedded in your body. It's literally embedded in your being, like the way that you are, even subconscious ways that you act, or even little tics or things that, or even thoughts. A lot of times that is coming directly from our ancestors, and it's such a beautiful sacred connection that we can make. And I think it's important for us to sort of feel into that, however that feels comfortable for you, because I know some people don't feel comfortable with ancestral veneration, and we're going to dive into what that means. And before we actually talk about ancestral veneration, I kind of wanted to talk about one specific concept, which is animism. Okay. Animism, right, is a belief system that is not necessarily tied to any religion, but a lot of religion, like a lot of practices that are connected to the natural world, especially indigenous practices, are connected to this belief that there's a spirit in everything, right? So imagine a rock. There's the spirit of the rock. There's the spirit of the air, the spirit of fire, the spirit of earth, the spirit of water. Like every single element has a spirit, and it has some sort of medicine and information that we can connect to, or even messages that we can receive when we are connecting to these aspects of the natural world. So there's also with this in mind, we also want to recognize that when we are looking at our ancestors, they're not just our family tree, meaning those who are coming through our lineage through our blood, but there's also this connection to our ancestors in the bigger perspective. When we look at animism, right, there's this bigger perspective of like everything is our ancestor. So literally the planet earth is our ancestor. And if you think about it from the perspective of you come from this earth, you are part of the earth, and then when you die you live because you live because your soul is inside existing, incarnated in your body, and then when you die you go back to the earth, you decompose, you go back to basically becoming one with the earth, right? And so there's this aspect of, even when we look at that from that perspective, we can recognize that there's sort of this incredible connection to the ancestral essence of this earth just by existing in this body, because this body is comprised of elements that come from this earth, right? And if that's the case, that means that we are directly connected, and we are children, right, of this earth in a way, right? And so if you look at it from that perspective, you can even expand your perception of ancestral veneration to the earth. So I understand that some people might not feel comfortable connecting with ancestors because you may have noticed certain negative patterns in your family tree. Maybe you are trying to break away from certain patterns that you yourself experienced or you observed with your parents, and you're like, I don't know if I really want to venerate those ancestors. But if we think about it from from like just a greater perspective, we can start seeing that when we are connecting to nature, to the natural world, and we are respecting it, and we're giving it our love, and we're thanking the land, and we're thanking the spirit of air, and with it we are literally connecting to ancestors, and that's a form of ancestral veneration. Okay, so I want to invite you to really think about from that perspective, and that's the reason why I feel like animism is sort of interconnected with that ancestral veneration, and it cannot be separated. Now you're probably wondering, okay, Jakara, well, what about shamanism? So shamanism is basically it's basically animism in practice, right? So when we talk about shamanism, is basically the practice of veneration of the natural world, or the practice of connecting to the natural world and to the spirit of the natural world. Meaning, if you are, right, of the belief that there's spirit in everything, and you are actively interacting with this spirit, right, like meaning you are actively connecting to the spirit of a tree. Maybe you have a tree in your front yard, such as like I have one, right? And you suddenly feel this really deep connection with that tree. And then maybe you start giving offerings to the tree. Maybe you start figuring out what you can give that tree so that that tree can be healthy, right? Maybe you're looking at this from that perspective. You can see that that in itself, that practice is the practice of shamanism. You don't necessarily have to be initiated into a tribe. Now, that's another ball of wax that we can talk about in another episode. But what I can tell you is that you yourself, if you feel that calling to connect to your ancestral to the land, right, to those ancestors of the land, then you can definitely call yourself someone who is a shamanic practitioner, right? And so when we look at that from that perspective, then we can see how it's all interrelated. The animism, right, that belief that's like sort of like the seed, right, the seed of that belief. Then the practice of connecting to those spirits, that in itself is shamanism. And then we have the veneration, which comes into the practice of giving offerings, or even giving or even having a conversation with these spirits. And with that in itself, I want to invite you to think about it. I am doing ancestral veneration when I am connecting to the natural world, and I am giving my love and my gratitude to it. That in itself is ancestral veneration. Now, that's on the broader perspective. Now, when we look at it from more of a nuanced perspective, right, where we're looking at the ancestral veneration in the form of looking at our own lineage, looking at our own family tree. Yes, that's definitely possible. I know that some people feel uncomfortable because it feels like you're looking at your ancestors as someone who are bigger than you, or like God, because we come from that perspective of God being bigger than us, and like us being this like being like this being that is so little and it's not powerful and doesn't have anything to give. That's not really, I want to invite you to really give, like, step away from that perspective of like God being this big being that we can't connect to. You kind of have to look at the ancestors as peers, right? You're sort of like peers that are working together. So what do I mean by that? Your ancestors, they will give you guidance based on, of course, what is for the highest good of course, the well ancestors, what is for the highest good of the tree, meaning they're going to call you to follow your own path, and that would be the well ancestors, and we'll go into that in detail. But they will call you to follow a path, right, a path for you that will benefit the greater good of the family tree. That's what the ancestors would typically guide you, right, the well ancestors. Then we have the conversation of the ancestors that are not well, and that's when we find ourselves in these very intricate, difficult situations, even unhealthy situations, very, let's say, things that we don't really want to experience and that are painful, right? And a lot of times this is coming from our ancestors that are unwell, and we are living this so that we can experience it, and then in turn that around, alchemize that. That's why when you hear about the whole idea of we are the prayer of our ancestors, that's what it means, is that we get to carry this, not because we have to carry the negative, just the negative and the aspect of it, but we get to also carry the positive aspect of our tree and flip things around and turn things around into the positive, right? And so you're probably wondering, okay, Jakara, how can I venerate my ancestors? So the first thing that I would say, if you want to start practicing ancestral veneration, maybe you're not comfortable right now practicing the ancestral veneration towards your family tree. Maybe you don't have a very good relationship with your parents right now, and you don't feel comfortable. And I completely understand that. So I would say the first thing that I would do is to first create an altar that will represent the natural world, the things from the natural world that you enjoy. So, for example, let's say you go to the beach and you happen to find this beautiful shell that you connect with, and it's calling you, and you just feel like you need to take it home. Take that's calling you because it wants to be in your altar, right? Maybe you're out in the park, and then you suddenly find this pine cone, or maybe you find like a stick from a tree that fell, and you basically feel connected to that tree, and you just want that. You can take that. That's part of your altar. So maybe you collect a couple of things, and then you're like, okay, where do I set this altar up? A couple of things that I can recommend for you is to make sure that you're setting it up in a place that you will feel like you can create some peace and quiet. So you don't want to have your altar in a place that's in the middle of the house. Maybe you have children running around. You don't want to set your altar there. You could potentially set an altar there for the house, but not for the type of work that you're going to be doing, which is going to be very private to you. This is going to be your sacred space. So for example, I can tell you with my own abuela, my own grandmother, she had her own altar next to her bed, and that's where she had her altar. And then she would go there, she would close the door, and she would go there and she would pray there, right? And so that's a suggestion. But maybe you have a room in your home where you can set up the altar, and it's a sacred, like a little sacred space. And you can even communicate this with your family members and say, hey, I'm creating this space. Please do not come here. Do not touch these things. This is a sacred space for me. This is where mommy is going to to pray, and we don't want to. If you want to pray with mommy, you can come here and pray with me, but if not, then please don't come here, right? You can do that if you have children. If you don't have children, then just talk to your husband or your roommates or whoever you're living with, and say, hey, listen, do not touch, right? If you want to explain it, you can, because I think some people don't understand it. Like, I come from a Hispanic family, I'm Hispanic, and so we don't, for us, it's like normal to have an altar. It's like we already know the nuances of it, but maybe you're trying to introduce this to people who don't have a clue. Maybe you need to educate them a little bit, right? um and so once you set your altar up, you bring in those elements, and maybe you don't have all the elements right now, or maybe you already know what you want to put there, or you have all the elements that you want to put. You can then start sitting in front of your altar. So it's a practice, right? This is a sort of like a practice that you get to cultivate in that space. So the more energy you bring into that space, the more you'll be able to connect a lot faster. So, for example, in my own altar, like for my own altar, I have all the elements that I connect with. I have, for example, pictures of my parents. I have pictures of spirit animals that I connect with. I have elements of the earth that I have collected over the past few years, that of places that felt magical to me, and I just felt so drawn to these pieces, and I was like, I have to take this with me, and so I did that. And then from there, I created this altar, and then now I just sit in meditation in front of it. And so, like I was mentioning earlier today, this week, I was mentioning to you that I was having a hard time, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I just sat in front of my altar and I cried. Like, you can do that. That could be your sacred space for you to create that. But not only is it a place for you to connect with your ancestors, and again, doesn't have to be your ancestors from your family tree. It can be your ancestors, because water, earth, fire, and air, they're all your ancestors, their souls. So I want you to really see beyond just the family tree, okay? And so you can connect with that and start that connection. And again, and that will be a calling. You can call in spirits of the trees that are around you. You can call in even the ancestors of the land, the well ancestors that want to support you and help you. And then start that conversation, start that practice. You don't even have to say anything. You can do something as simple as offering a white candle, offering water, offering maybe even coffee, or something that you feel like you want to offer at the moment. You can go ahead and offer that on the altar, and then later on give it back. For example, if you're giving water, you can definitely give that back to a tree outside or to a plant outside. And that in itself is that creation. So you're creating a conversation between you. You're starting a conversation between you and the natural world, or you and your ancestors. Okay, that's basically what you're doing. You may start receiving messages, right? You can even sit in front of your altar and start journaling, or even call in the connection and start doing some automatic writing, and then you'll get some messages. Another way that you can also connect to your ancestors, which I've been doing lately, is to connect, because I have a hard time connecting with, for example, with my grandmother on my dad's side, because my mom and my dad were divorced very early. So I didn't have a connection with my family on my dad's side. So I feel very disconnected here in this body. I feel very disconnected from the side of my father. So what I have been doing to connect with my grandmother and my ancestors on my father's lineage is that I've been using tarot to help me connect with them, and they certainly come forward. So what I do is that I call her in. I call my grandmother in, because she's been around me, and people, I have mediums tell me that she's been around me, and I'm like, I can't connect with her for whatever reason. And I can connect to everything else, but for whatever reason, it's just been hard. So then I said, okay, what's the workaround? So maybe you're having a hard time yourself. You can use oracle cards, or even a tarot deck to pull some cards and ask questions, and then they'll just let them give you some advice or some support. I've even have had my ancestor come forth and ask for support, like, because I do clearings, I do ancestral clearings, and so they've come forward and say, hey, we need to clear this because it's affecting me, right? So they're like, I need you to support me with clearing this because this is affecting you, right? And so it's like, oh, this is great. But anyway, I'm trying not to get too tangent here. Y'all know that I don't have a script or anything, so I just kind of go with the flow. But what I wanted to say here is that you have the opportunity to connect with the ancestors in whichever way you can. You can even participate in mediumship circles if you want to, which, if by the way, you can sign up to my email list and you'll find out when I have my next mediumship circle, and call in ancestors that way and practice that connection. Or even just even you yourself can just sit in meditation and just practice that connection on your own, however you want to do that, right? And then if you're still feeling resistance, let's say you're like, well, Jakara, I really don't like my family. Like, or maybe you're someone who doesn't know your family because you grew up in a different family tree. You can still connect to the ancestors of that family tree that took care of you, that adopted you, right? You can still do that. And if you want to call in your biological ancestors, your biological family tree, you can do so as well. But let's say you don't feel connected with that biological family tree, you don't want to connect to it. You still are part of that family tree that adopted you. So you're able to connect to those ancestors and continue to do that veneration in that way if you decide to do so. Okay. So don't feel that if maybe you've been adopted, or maybe you grew up with a different family, and then they were your core people and they were the ones that loved you and nourished you throughout all those years. You can still connect to those ancestors, because remember that those people that were embodied, right, those parents that were embodied, they were the embodiment of all of the ancestors up until then. So that's literally all of the love from all of their ancestry, all of their tree coming through them. So just remember that you still have, like, obviously that those ancestors loved you and they cared for you. So there's nothing wrong with venerating ancestry that is from a family tree that is not biological, especially if there was a real care and nourishment connection that they did with you. Okay. There could potentially be aspects of your own soul that were connecting to that specific family tree because you most likely had other lifetimes together. Now, let me expand a little bit more in regards to ancestors here. So recently I've been working with one of my clients, and we've been doing some ancestral work. And every time I connect with these clients, Akashic Records, my mind is blown, right? And if you're watching this, you know who you are. But anyway, so one of the things that I found out that are also part of your ancestry is the fact that we also come from other planets, other galactic. We've been part of other galactic beings as well. And that could potentially be part of your ancestry. So if you are someone who's very connected with galactic beings that come forward, and you feel this sense of familiarity, almost like this sense of like they feel very motherly or very fatherly, you may potentially be connecting to an ancestor, right, that's coming from that specific lineage. So you can even have a lineage that's connected to that. And if you want to venerate that ancestry connection, why not? Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that at all. So if you feel like, because again, as an Akashic Records reader and clearer, I know that this is the truth. Like, it has shown up in the records for people. I've had to clear programs for people that were related to ancestry in other planets. So, and with beings that are not human, right? They're not from this planet. They're not human. They're aliens, right? And so when we are looking at that, from that perspective, we can recognize that our ancestry spans just from the, like, beyond the family tree. So I want to invite you to really think about ancestry from a very broad perspective, and not get stuck in just one. Just because you are having a hard time connecting with your ancestors here, again, doesn't mean that you cannot do ancestral veneration. Okay. So that is what I have here. I kind of wanted to share. Let me know in the comments, are you enjoying this? Is this something that it resonates with you? Does it feel, what is your practice? Maybe you have a practice already that you are already engaging with ancestral veneration. Feel free to share it in the comments, whether you're here live or on the replay. You know, I always love to read your comments, so feel free to leave that here. And yeah, so today I wanted to offer something for you guys, especially because I feel that there's so much pain, right, that we carry around, especially if we've had like difficult relationships with our parents, and then we have this sort of like disconnect, right, in regards to our connection with our ancestors. And so what I want to do today is offer you a meditation that will be infused with a clearing, with energy clearing that will support you with connecting with the ancestors. So if, for example, you are being called to connect, but you're still feeling resistance, then go ahead and listen to this. And you can come back and listen to this anytime that you need, to re-listen and kind of clear your energy if you want to, knowing that you are able to sort of just clear the path and go deeper anytime you need. And if you need additional support, you're more than welcome to come forth and reach out to me at the bloominglotushealing.com, and we can set up a session if you need that additional support. But let this be your support, at least in the meantime, so that you can connect and be able to expand your spiritual practice. There's so much depth and so much richness in connecting with our ancestry, regardless of where we want to approach it from. It's just something that I highly recommend. Okay, so I have Nicole Williams saying, I remember this came up in my reading with you. I never thought about past life on another planet before. Yes, exactly. So, and Nicole, and just like it came up for you, it's come up for other people as well. So that's the reason why I feel that it's important to kind of like expand. That's what I love about working in the Akashic Records, is the fact that it comes from this expanded state, and everything is so, like, you can see all the possibilities that are here on this universe and beyond this universe, and it's just like, it's just mind-blowing. So yeah, I have expanded your mind. That's awesome. Thank you, Nicole. I'm so grateful for you being here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the meditation. And I want to invite you to get yourself comfortable. If you are someone who cannot meditate with your eyes closed because it's just not comfortable, I want to invite you to just find a spot in your room that feels comfortable for you to just not close your eyes, but just kind of like just soften your gaze. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. And what I want to invite you to do is get yourself comfortable on your seat. Make sure that your feet are planted on the floor, because we want to ground with Mother Earth. We want to ground with our ancestral grandmother, Mama Pachamama Gaia. Okay. And then the next thing I want to invite you to do is make sure that all of your electronics, except of course with the electronic that you're using to watch me, but just make sure your notifications are off, so that you can really dive deep into it. Because what we're going to do is I'm going to take you into a shamanic journey. Okay, we're going to go into that shamanic journey, and hopefully you get to meet an ancestor. Okay, we'll hopefully you'll get to meet an ancestor and take a message from that ancestor. Sometimes certain ancestors are just quiet and they're just watching you, and that's okay. Even if you don't get a message from the ancestor, but you just have their presence, that's enough. That's just them showing up for you, right? And that's beautiful. Sometimes ancestors can come in the form of spirit animals, as well as in the form of an angel, or sometimes just in the form of a person that you've never met. And that's okay, because it could be someone that's generations down. So you could even have the spirit of the tree come through. Just let yourself receive what is meant to come through for you, because it's what is meant to be for you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick so we can get started. And I want to invite you to get yourself comfortable on your seat. Like I mentioned, you can soften your gaze or close your eyes. And as you allow yourself to soften your gaze or close your eyes, just take this moment just to notice the sensation of your breath as it goes in and out of your nostrils. Just noticing the sensation of your breath. Giving yourself permission to relax. Relax your tongue, unclench your jaw. Just relax. Nothing else matters but the present moment. Just give yourself permission to be grateful for this moment, for yourself, for showing up for yourself today. This is a gift of space, the gift of relaxation, the gift of love, acceptance. And at this moment, I want to invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose, all the way in, until you allow your belly to expand. And as you release, you're going to release through your mouth all the way out until you have nothing else to release. So the count of 3, let's start together to take that deep breath. 1, 2, 3, deep breath. All the way in and release. All the way out. All the way out. Take another deep breath. Expanding on, release. All the way out. Relaxing your body. Take another deep, deep breath. And release. Releasing all the tension. Releasing any anxiety, any sadness. Taking in that beautiful cleansing breath one more time. Releasing anything that doesn't serve you at this moment. So allowing yourself to be present with yourself. And just go back to your regular breath. And as you allow yourself to be in this beautiful presence of your breath, allowing your shoulders to relax, your jaw to unclench, your tongue to relax. You're fully relaxed. Relax your belly, allow it to take space. Relax your hips, relax your hands, your arms, your legs. You're relaxed and present. And just allow your thoughts to be like clouds in the sky. You're just observing them. And when you feel like you get stuck in a thought, just go back to your breath, noticing the sensation of your nostrils as you inhale and exhale through your nostrils. Noticing the subtle sensation of your breath, the temperature change, the way it travels into your body, the way it expands your chest and your belly. Let yourself be present with your body. Take this moment to acknowledge any area of your body that maybe feels tense, maybe pain, maybe pressure, whatever it's happening in your body. Just gently send your breath into that area. Visualize yourself sending breath to that area as an acknowledgement that you're here present for it all. You're here present with yourself. Relaxing your body a little bit more. Nothing else matters but the present moment. You're loved, accepted as you are. You're received fully. And as we open the sacred container, we thank the ancestors of the land. We thank our well ancestors. We thank our higher self. We thank spirit guides, calling in Archangel Michael to shield and protect this space as we get ready to embark in this journey to meet with our ancestors. Whichever ancestor wants to come forth, calling in the ancestor that is for the highest good and the highest good only. Visualize this beautiful golden light that is right in front of you and starts to enter into your body with every breath you take. And allow this golden light to travel throughout your body, cleansing every single area of your body. Give yourself permission to relax your body even deeper as you become ever so present, ever so relaxed. This beautiful golden light expands to your entire body and beyond, into your energy field, creating an orb of protection. And this orb makes way down towards the bottom of your feet, expanding even further down, deep into the ground and expanding outward. You notice that at the bottom of your feet, there's this lovely root system that starts to grow, this iridescence, bioluminescent root system that grows from the bottom of your feet, traveling deep into the ground, protected with this beautiful golden light right outside of it. You find yourself in the middle of the earth, and there is a beautiful tree. It's bioluminescent, just like your roots. You feel into the presence of the heart of Mother Earth. You feel her love and her nourishment. You feel seen and accepted as you are. The ultimate expression of Mother. Unconditional love. Allow yourself to wrap your root system around the roots of that tree. And as you wrap, you notice this lovely golden, blue, and green light that starts to move forward and towards the bottom of your feet through this root system. And this light, with every inhale, you receive it. And with every exhale, you give your iridescence back to this beautiful tree, connecting, grounding to Mother Earth. This beautiful experience of presence with Mother Earth, recognizing this lovely connection and interaction. You feel relaxed, loved, nourished, accepted. You feel protected. Just allow yourself to be in this lovely energy and expand that beautiful essence of Mother Earth throughout your body as you receive her and she receives you. Your energetic connection becomes one and you're fully online with Mother Earth. Now allow this light to move upward towards the top of your head as you call in your connection with higher self, clearing any energies that are keeping you from seeing, connecting, clearing your third eye and your crown, cleansing. You now notice this lovely lotus flower that shows up at the top of your head, and it opens up, calling in the connection with the divine, with spirit, with God, calling in that connection, and you notice this lovely platinum and golden light traveling down towards your crown, passing through your soul star chakra, activating your connection with your soul and your higher self. It travels down towards the top of your head, traveling down through each one of your energy centers, starting with your crown, swirling clockwise, cleansing your crown and connecting, fully connected with Spirit, with God. Continuing to go down towards your third eye, right in the middle of your forehead, swirling and cleansing your third eye, continuing to go down towards your throat, clearing out your throat, continuing to go down towards your heart chakra in the middle of your chest, twirling clockwise, clearing your heart and expanding, inviting in the essence of forgiveness and love, compassion, allowing your heart to expand. Let yourself be engulfed by love, Continuing to go down towards your solar plexus right above your belly, clearing that energy and allowing yourself to continue your journey of connection down towards your sacral, right at the bottom of your belly, the womb, the presence of Mother, where we come from. Continuing to go down towards your root at the bottom of your spine, and then finally down towards the bottom of your feet, anchoring the light of Spirit of God through your body onto your Earth Star chakra. Allow this essence to expand throughout your body into your auric field. You notice this lovely light all around you. You're inside a bubble, and this bubble is protecting you. You're supported. Calling in well ancestors, calling in spirit guides, spirit team, those who are for the highest good and the highest good of all. Call them in. At this moment, I want to invite you to set the intention to call in an ancestor. And now, you see yourself sitting on a bench in the middle of the forest. And as you sit on that bench, you feel the need to walk forward towards a path that's illuminated. You can see the sun through the trees. You feel the freshness of being in the lovely essence and around the trees. It's a nice sunny day and you can see the sun. You can smell the flowers. Your feet are directly connected to the floor and you can feel that beautiful connection with Mother Earth, the freshness of the soil on your feet. And as you walk forward, you can hear water, a water stream. You feel the freshness, the welcoming energy of this beautiful place. As you walk forward, you notice there's this beautiful cabin right at the end. This cabin looks inviting. It looks comfortable. And you can see that there's a chimney. You can see the fire through one of the windows. You can see the smoke coming out of the chimney, and you can smell the chimney. You can smell this beautiful scent of the trees, the logs that are being burned, that were sacred and now being burned, welcoming you. Sacred fire welcoming you in. You walk closer, you find yourself at the very center of this space. You can feel yourself centered, loved, accepted. You knock on the door, and as you knock on the door, this beautiful being opens it. You find yourself amazed by their beautiful, loving eyes. There's so much love for you. They're welcoming you in with a big smile. And now they show you over to the left. There's a nice, comfortable seat. Just go ahead and sit. You notice that there's tea and biscuits and welcoming gifts for you. You feel welcomed. You feel loved. You feel accepted. You feel safe. And as you allow yourself to sit there and look around, you notice all these little trinkets. What do you see? Maybe the place feels familiar, or maybe it doesn't, and that's okay. You then feel the need to go into meditation as you sit on this comfortable chair and you close your eyes. As you close your eyes, you then now feel even more relaxed and you find yourself going down stairs. So you go downstairs. With every single step you take, you relax even more. You find yourself at the end of the stairs and you're fully relaxed, present. You notice that as you go into this room, there's a lovely living room, and right on that living room, there is an ancestor waiting for you. They give you a lovely smile, welcoming. Go ahead and sit next to your ancestor. What do you see? What do you feel? What colors are present? Feeling reconnected with life, the life of your tree. Feeling your heart opening. Letting go of any aspects of yourself that are resisting your connection with your ancestors. You now allow yourself to be present, fully present with your ancestor. Give yourself permission to continue to feel into the presence of the ancestor. Let yourself receive the messages or the message. Give yourself permission to ask a question and let the answer come. You slowly now move into another room. You're welcomed by the ancestor, and they're now taking you into another room. Maybe they're taking you outside. What do you see? Let the ancestor guide you. Let the journey take over. Maybe there's something you want to tell your ancestor. Go ahead and do so now. Now it's time to go back. Give yourself permission to hug or thank your ancestor. Walk back to the living room where you met your ancestor. Now going up the stairs, going back to the next living room where you have the welcoming tea and where you saw all the trinkets, familiar or unfamiliar. And you notice that there is a note left on the table for you. What is the message on that note? Slowly take the moment to take in the message and start going back towards the entrance of the cabin. Give yourself permission to thank the fire that is alive at the fireplace. Thank the being that let you in lovingly. They open the door for you, and now you're back, walking back towards the bench. Your feet go back into feeling the earth, feeling the freshness of the trees, smelling the smoke of the chimney, which slowly starts to fade. You can see the pathway lit up towards the bench, going back to the bench. As you arrive on the bench, you sit down and you allow yourself to come back to your body. Slowly start moving your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes, feeling cleared and connected with your ancestors. Now closing the circle, thanking ancestors and Archangel Michael, closing any portals, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Welcome back. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Let me know in the comments, how did that feel for you? How did that nourish you? I would love to know what you saw. If you feel comfortable sharing what you saw in the meditation, or maybe what you felt. Even if you didn't see anything, maybe you felt something, and that's okay. Sometimes when you're connecting with the ancestors, you could potentially have a moment where you feel emotional, and that's perfectly fine, because sometimes you just need to be clearing some energies at the emotional level, and that's okay. Nicole said, I was asked to connect with my paternal grandmother. Ooh, that's beautiful. I love that, Nicole. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. So hopefully you can do so whichever way you were called. Did they share any way that you needed to connect, or are you just gonna move into it? I needed more time in that first room, so I stayed there for a while. That's good. Yeah, that room was nice. Well, at least from what I could see, it was a really nice, fun room. Piper says, my entire body felt so heavy and grounded. My feet didn't want to move. Yes, that's good, Piper. That means that you needed that grounding. You needed that beautiful grounding. And that's how it works, right? Like a lot of times, when we're not feeling grounded, when we're grounded, then we're suddenly like, whoa, like, is this what grounded feels like? Yes. And so really connected to the earth, and it really helps us too, because especially when we have a lot of mental load or mental information coming through, grounding is a really great tool to help us get out of the mind and into the body. So that's great. Let me know in the comments if you are on Facebook. I may not be able to see your comments, so feel free to come over to YouTube and share your comments, even if I didn't get to see your comments here. Just come back and share it on the replay. I'd love to hear more about what you saw and what you felt during the meditation. And if you feel like this brought value to you and you want to share this with someone else, please do feel free to share this. Sharing is caring, and it also lets the algorithm know that you like what you see so that the algorithm starts sharing it with other people. I also want to invite you to subscribe to this channel. If you haven't done so, please do. And if you have, thank you and welcome to the fam. And then make sure that you hit that notification button so that you know when I go live next. And if you ever want to work with me, one-on-one sessions, I do offer those. You can go over to the bloominglotushealing.com. And if you sign up for my email list, you get an amazing guide for connecting to your pendulum. So feel free to sign up for that. I do have some classes coming up. So do sign up for that. You're so welcome, Monica. You're so welcome. I'm so happy that y'all were able to connect with that meditation. I'm so grateful for everyone. I love you all so much. I will see you again tomorrow. And yeah, so have a wonderful, connected, and grounded day, beautiful souls. Happy Thursday, happy day of Jupiter. Today is all about expansion and learning. So give yourself permission to expand in whichever way you want. Bye, everyone.